Hey, Messiah, Texas, this is Adam Clark with your 5-Minute Friday, and today we're diving into Psalm 106. Now, there's so much that we could try to pull out of this. Praise, intercession, disobedience, complacency, but today we're going to zero in on God's steadfast love for his people. I love the way that Psalm 106 starts. Praise Yah. Oh, give thanks to Yahweh, for he is good. We're about to read a whole mess of sin that follows, and the perspective is so important. Listen to me. God's goodness is not dependent on your obedience. Whether you make the right choice or whether you make the wrong choice, God is still good. Right? When we read the Bible, we so often say, well, what does this say about me? But the whole Bible is all about him. What does it say about him? And it's that he is good. When we sin, when we fall short, he is good. Verse 6, he confesses, he says, we have sinned with our fathers. This is sometimes the hardest thing for us to do, to confess that we are sinners. But we know that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. In fact, if we're not willing to say that we have sinned, we are liars and the truth is not in us. But so often we get wrapped up in our own carnality, going into protection mode, saying, I can't let other people see the real me. Or the devil trying to wrap shame like shackles around our ankles to prevent us from confessing. He just punches it right in the mouth. He says, we have sinned. I've done it just like you have done it. We've all sinned. And then we read this continual cycle. Rebellion, deliverance, crying out, deliverance, rebellion. The same cycle repeats over and over and over again. The people making such mistakes and falling away from God. And then we get to verse 43. Many times he would deliver them, but they were rebellious in their counsel, and so they sank down into their iniquity. The people of Israel are a perfect case study into our own carnality. We do exactly the same thing. We sin, we fall short, we run away from God. It's happened from the beginning. Adam and Eve tried to hide their sin from God. But God knows their sin. God knows our sin. And maybe you find yourself in this position where you can relate to the Israelites. You've been struggling with sin. You've tried so hard to get rid of it, and yet you find yourself falling right back into it. You go to camp or you go to Sukkot or you go to a feast and you get this spiritual high and you think this time it's going to be different. And then you go home and you get around the same friends and the same habits and you fall into the same old ways. Hear me, my dear friend. Our God does not love your sin, but he does love you. He loves you so much that he gave his only begotten son to pay for you. In fact, we read in verse 44, nevertheless, he looked upon their distress when he heard their cry of lamentation, and he remembered for them his covenant, and he relented according to the abundance of his loving kindness. And he also made them objects of compassion in the presence of their captors. There is no sin bigger than God's love. Look at the terrible things that they did. They in verse 33 to 39, they sacrificed their own children to idols and demons. In verse 13 through 23, they traded the goodness of God for an animal that eats grass and is best served medium rare on a table with a side salad and blue cheese dressing. Terrible trades. They made terrible mistakes. But nevertheless, God's love was bigger and he was compassionate. And the same is true for you. No matter how far you've fallen, no matter where you've gone or what you've done, God's love is bigger. He is compassionate and he loves you deeper. And this is not a license to sin. This is not to say, oh, it's okay, just keep on sinning. Verse 3 tells us it's better that we just don't sin to begin with. Blessed are those who keep justice and righteousness at all times. That is the better way. But God knows that we can't do this on our own. He designed us to need him, that we need to walk with him, that through him and not on our own, we would be made perfect. Let's close by reading verse 47 and verse 48. Save us, O Yahweh our God, and gather us from among the nations to give thanks to your holy name, to revel in your praise. Blessed be Yahweh, the God of Israel, from everlasting to everlasting. And let all the people say, Amen. Praise Yah.